Caffeine and connections with Angie. Connect purpose, spirit, love, wealth, and networking. Relax and chill. Caffeine and connections with Angie.
And we're back. Hey, Robin.
Hey, girl, I like that intro. I'm feeling it.
Oh, welcome to Caffeine and Connections. I'm your host, Angelina, also known as Angie Griffin. And yeah, we're back in Q2. I want to say this is interview number 2 for Q2 of 2026. And I have Rev Robin, the Poolside Pastor, with us today. Good
Hey,
evening.
Angie. Hey, it's good to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Finally, we got you in the seat. We finally got you here. So Caffeine and Connections, for those that don't know, this is Caffeine and Connections, the podcast. Caffeine and Connections stems from the meetup that we started over 2 years ago. Just us, Black professionals, unapologetically meeting up, fellowshipping. And the podcast, we're here talking about health, love, awareness, and wealth. So these are our topics. And Reverend Robin, obviously, is one of our meetup members. And, we're here to highlight her today, right? We want to hear the story. The one thing I say about Caffeine and Connections is, and one of the reasons why we started the podcast is because we all have a story. So I'm excited.
Got story.
I know.
Got story, yeah.
So I'm excited to hear yours today because the one thing I know is you have a lot on your schedule. So I'm hoping that we could talk about some things that are going to be coming up in the next quarter that you can, speak out to get people excited about that you have going on. So I think we're doing this at the perfect time.
Oh, I agree. It's all perfect timing. It's always.
Yeah. So let's tell the people who you are, because they're like, okay, Reverend Robin, the Poolside Pastor. So as you would do on Caffeine and Connections, the meetup, let us know who you are.
Yeah, so Rev Robin G. White, actually. And I am known as the Poolside Pastor. There's a story there too. Of course, we'll get to it. But I am an award-winning author, a minister, an ordained metaphysical minister. My day job, night job, all-around job is VP of Acquisitions for Black On Demand Television Network. I am the showrunner, executive producer for Hidden Treasures Sarasota, Tampa Bay, a show that's running currently on Roku and Amazon Fire, and we will more than likely see it on Tubi this coming season. And I am co-host and co-producer of the Build Black show, a podcast that's currently running on, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple, Alexa devices, YouTube. No, we're everywhere. So I do a lot. I write, I create music. I help people follow their dreams and get seen. I believe in storytelling. It's something I've done my whole life. And I'm really feeling blessed to be in a position where I get to help other people see their dreams come true and help Black businesses, Black entrepreneurs build and grow and strengthen our communities, because there's a lot going on. And but there's a lot more positive stuff going on, and we want to amplify those voices and amplify those experiences. And you do a remarkable job at doing that. So I really love being a part of the group.
Thank you. Yeah, you've been coming now for over a year, I would say, right? I think about at least a year.
At least, yeah.
At least a year. So, just, coming, and I know a lot happened. It was like a little gap for a while. But yeah, so, what is it about Caffeine and Connections that drew you in and has you coming back?
Yeah, Lady Casey, invited me. I met her at a party and we connected, and she was checking on me, making sure I was okay because I was going through some stuff.
Okay.
And she said, you know, you need to come check this out. I think you'd, you know, really be interested in it. So she sent the link, and I came in not really knowing what I was coming into. I just knew that they were Black folks doing business. And I'm so glad I did, because I've met some really awesome people. I love hearing where people are and their stories and their journey. I love being able to support folks. I got on a call immediately after our meeting this morning with Kathleen. You know,
Nice.
there's so many opportunities for us to support one another. It's a great networking opportunity. It's wonderful to see people's growth,
Yes.
to see them build, to be able to support them. I was able to film Ms. Snowbiz, Missy, and I
Mm-hmm.
know that that episode's going to go far and wide. She's topping off the beginning of my second season of Hidden Treasures. So,
Exciting.
you know, it is exciting, and it's really great to, you know, there's something wonderful about seeing yourself on TV and seeing your business highlighted and knowing that everybody's going to see that. But these are the kinds of ways that we support one another, and we show up for each other. We buy each other's books, we buy each other's products, we use each other's services, and they're essential to our health and well-being, and you know, our strengthening our own businesses. But it's also investing in our communities and keeping the
Right.
dollars, you know, that, what is it, $1.4 trillion that we spend. It's great to see that money going back into the community, and supporting one another on a very, it feels like a micro level, but it's great because it gets amplified with things like this.
Yeah. And I think, you know, also that when you have that, I mean, it might seem micro, but the micro to me is the important part, only because you
Mhm.
have more closer interaction with the people. And maybe that's a me thing. I like to kind of be able to commune and even build relationships with those people on that micro
Exactly.
level.
And by micro, I mean, you know, it's a significant group of people who meet on Friday mornings, and we
Hmm.
all get to talk and chime in. Some of us come with a whole long laundry list of stuff, but
No, you just have a lot of good stuff happening, that's all.
but you know, you're right, developing those relationships is really important. And a lot of times I think when we are building, we're going into spaces where we're not always seen,
Hmm.
even if it's something that's helping us, you know, community groups that are investing in businesses. um, but it's really good to, you know, look over on the next pathway over and see your sister there, your brother there, and know that they're going through similar experiences, and be able to share those trials and tribulations and the
Yeah.
successes and the joys.
Yeah, indeed. Because, you know, there's always something that we usually deal with that sometimes we just need support. But it's easier if you have a somebody that you can connect with, because sometimes it's not easy to put it out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So glad you show up. So glad. I'm gonna just say it. Let's start here with this interview with the highlight, because I knew it was gonna spark. I knew something was just gonna spark. Because I mean, when you first started, I mean, you know, I just
Go ahead.
remember. Uh, no, I remember you were introducing yourself as a poolside pastor, right? And I think, were you even in the pool one time on
Yes.
one of the
Yes,
meetings?
I've taken the meetings in the pool. I sure have.
Right. So, but I also remember there being a transition for you. There was something that was happening. It was a transition happening. And, you know, we saw you, but then we didn't see you for a while. But then when we saw you again, it was just like, this girl's got this glow, and she's just like, what's going on, Robin? Tell us what's happening in your life.
Yeah, you know, okay, so we're going to tell the story. I don't even know where to start. There was so much craziness that happened all at once. And it was over the course of about 2 years. I had cascading health issues. I went into the hospital with an emergency appendectomy, and it just went from there. But bilateral pulmonary embolisms and AFib, and like all kinds of like major health issues where I almost died. And then things began to level off a little bit. I was going to have some surgeries to fix a few things and get things calmed down. I moved out of my apartment. I found, one of my friends was moving out of her house, and she asked me to take it over for her so that she knew it would be, taken care of. And the rent was like half of what I was paying. I was like, yes.
What a blessing.
And they had a great swimming pool. Had a great swimming pool. And so I had become the poolside pastor because in these health issues, one of the things that happened was I couldn't walk. I had a disc slip out of my back, and I could move about 20 to 30 feet and without, until I just collapsed in pain, or I could stand for about 3 or 4 seconds. So I had enough time that I could move from my apartment to my car, drive my car around the complex, get out of the car at the gate, and get in the swimming pool. I knew that if I got in the pool, I would be able to develop some mobility. But I know me. If I don't have an accountability partner, it's not happening. So I decided that I would go on Facebook in the mornings at 9 o'clock and deliver an inspirational message every morning at 9. And then I would work out. And that's what I did. And in one of the times, one of my friends called me. She said, "Girl," my friend Ife Franklin, her art is up here, and she's an amazing artist. She said, "Girl, you out there, hair not done, whiskers, all your fat rolls and everything." Because at the time, I weighed about 130 pounds more than I do now. And I'm in there struggling in this pool. And, I'm just out there. It's just me. Like, this is it. She said, "Girl, you the poolside pastor."
She gave you the name, huh?
She gave me the name, honey.
Okay.
And I loved it. It stuck. I love the water. I live in Sarasota, Florida. I'm here because the water is everything. But when you met me, I was going through all of that. I was still delivering messages from the pool and just trying to figure out what was going to happen to me, because after the surgery, I had like this major surgery. It was going to be an 8-week recovery period. 3 days after it, the hurricane hit. And it was flooding. We weren't flooded. I was fine. But a week later, we had another hurricane, and it ripped the roof off of my house, literally landed it in the backyard. And so I didn't have a home anymore. And I was displaced for about 5 months, recovering from surgery, couch surfing at the time, I think I was like 63 years old. And it was just really like, I'm sitting there going, all right, God, I don't know what this is, but whatever it is, I know you must have something better for me. I'm just going to keep moving through this. You just got to keep walking, and you got to just be grateful for all the good things that are happening for you. I had a place to stay. I had a friend who was like, "You stay here for as long as you need to. You stay here for as long as you want to. We love having you here." And she was in a little 3-bedroom apartment with her 2 kids, her 2 dogs, her cat, and her husband. And, I'm sleeping in the kids' bed. I'm sleeping on the couch. The puppies bite my toes in the morning, But Courtney was an absolute godsend. And I had friends who were supporting me financially, who were sending me money, who were making sure I was okay, who came to visit me in the hospital. I had sepsis and almost died again. And in that process, I was like, okay, I'm still going to have to live because life is going to keep lifing. I got on TikTok, and a woman that I knew was promoting her book, Earn, Review, Repeat. And so I got on, and I was like, "Oh, look what she's doing." And she's like, "Oh, there's Robin, the poolside pastor. Y'all need to be paying attention to her." And I was like, okay.
Wait,
I didn't know you were following me like this.
Let's back up a little bit. Let's dissect just a couple things really quick, just for the people, because naturally, things are happening, right? And your friend that's on TikTok, that's all well and great. But let's go back to you. Let's back up a little bit. So all this time, your friend Courtney, you're able to stay at her house. You're in her apartment with her animals, her children, her husband. But you have a place, and in your mind, I can imagine what you were going through from having to, have the surgery. You were displaced. Well, before you were displaced, you had the surgery, but shortly after the surgery, you were displaced. So that there's already a struggle there, because having surgery and, or health issues, sepsis, were you ever feeling discouraged? I know your faith is strong, but at the same time, what were you feeling? What were you dealing with emotionally and spiritually?
It's funny because I've looked back recently at some of the videos and the pictures of me at the time, and I'm always very for the most part, I'm very positive. You know, my thing is that everything's always in divine order. Everything happens as it's supposed to. And we just have to find the lesson and the blessings in it and continue to move forward with gratitude and have faith, knowing that whatever is coming, whatever it is that's happening, that things are always working for our greatest good and highest self, right? It's always in the background doing stuff. And I'm like, man, if this is what's going on in the foreground, I know what's coming has got to be huge. I can't even imagine what it was.
So that was really
And
your
so
thought
that
process.
really was my thought process. And I was glad to be able to hang out with Courtney and her kids. I love her kids. I used to live across the way from them in the same apartment complex. And when I had been really ill, I mean, I had, you know, the bilateral pulmonary embolisms and the fainting and the blood loss and the, you know, like all of the stuff that I was going through. She was the person who would come and bring my groceries in, do my laundry, pick up after me. Her kids, who at the time were, I think, like 5 and 7 or 5 and 8 or something like that, would come take out my trash. They'd knock on my door, Miss Robin, do you need anything? You know, Miss
Wow.
Robin, and they would come and watch TV with me. When the ambulance would come get me, which was far too often, they would come and take care of my cat. So
Wow.
they're like family to me. She'll say it in a heartbeat. I know I'm not telling any tales out of school, but she will tell you, anybody in a minute, I'm a hillbilly and ain't nobody gonna mess with my black mama. You know,
Oh,
'cause
that's sweet though.
that's when her kids act up, I just give them the look and they settle right down. And she said, I got a black mama in my house. I got a black mama in my house. So, you know,
That's awesome.
I really just, you know, I felt immensely grateful because, you know, I did end up in a FEMA motel for a couple months and then they put us out and I still needed a place to stay. So I went back with her and we
Okay.
celebrated Christmas together and everything. And that's, yeah, you
So that
know,
just really shows how important community is, or
mhm,
your village really
yep,
is. Because, you
yeah.
know, yeah. And that, because I mean, I don't know how it would be if Courtney wasn't around, but even still, like your faith, just you saying that if this is happening in the forefront, I don't, what the heck is happening behind the scenes? You know, it was going to be big. So, okay, let's move back to your friend on TikTok,
So
and she sees you.
I'm watching this chick on TikTok and she's hustling this book and she's like, I'm gonna give it, you know, she's giving it like for a really cheap price. And she says, you know, in a couple months it's gonna be higher, but you can get this now at this price. So I pulled my little pennies together because of course I'm gonna support my people, right? And then she had a workshop. She had a workshop about the book. The book was designed to help people review, you know, make money by doing reviews. So, of course, I was like, yeah, okay.
Okay.
I didn't have the money to do it. I didn't have the money to do it, but God made a way. And I took the workshop. And this was the changing moment in my life because during the workshop, she said, listen, I'm going to have, you know, I got this little network and we need new content and y'all think you can do better than what's up there, because she had like 4 shows that she had made out of podcast.
Okay.
She said, you know, you think you can do better, I'm going to do a contest. You give me 2 minutes of raw footage of you on your cell phone doing something, reviewing something that you'd like to do. So I went out to Siesta Key. Siesta Key is like the #1 beach in the country, number 4 in the world. It's pure white quartz crystal sand and aquamarine blue waters. I mean, it's
Beautiful.
gorgeous, just
Yes.
breathtaking. And so I went, and every Sunday night they have a drum circle. So this is like November, December. It's cold. It's cold. It's cold to be out banging drums. It's cold anyway, because it's, you know, below 50 degrees down here is snow day. You know, we ain't going out anywhere. First 2 times I went out, they were like, we ain't drumming tonight. It's too cold. Sorry, we going back. And I'm like, I got to get this because I know that this is the thing. Third time's a charm. I went out earlier. Sun was shining. They were drumming. People were dancing. I shot a couple of videos of me talking about this drum circle and how magnificent it is. There were probably 100 people out, maybe 150. There's usually several hundred people out, but I was like, we just gonna do tight shots and, you know, make it work. And so I had one where I was just like focused on them. But then I had one where I was focused on me and the people dancing and the drummers and the kids and everything. And so I went with that and I sent it in. And on Christmas Day, I found out that 12 of us had won television shows.
Wow.
I won a television show. I won an opportunity to have my own show. She selected people who had either no or very limited experience doing this. Now, I've been a performer. I've been on stage since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. I've had a television show, but it's the kind where they shove the mic in your face and say, this is what you need to say. So that was it. I'd been on this side of the camera, but not the person who was, producing a show. So we spent the next few months learning how to produce the shows, how to figure out what to do. I'm an overthinker, so I made it really hard on myself, but I also made it easy. I found an intern at Ringling College, Araya Laree. And that was fortuitous. I woke up one morning and said, I need an intern. I'm going to go to the college. And I was driving Lyft at the time, and I got this fare at the college. And this young Black woman walks up. She gets, and I said, do you go to school here? She said, yeah. I said, what's your major? She said, film. I went, okay, God. All right. So I asked her, I said, would you be interested in an internship on a television show? And I explained to her what the network was. I explained to her that we were filming these television shows using our cell phones. And, would she be interested? And she said, sure.
Wow.
And so I put together the show. I decided I wanted a news format. Every segment would be like 10 minutes. It's a half-hour show. We went around and did all kinds of fun stuff. She filmed it, met people, did events, talked to folks, and had so much footage. And then she had to go study. She had to go back to school. She had exams. She was a junior and she was in the middle of school. And I'm sitting there with all this footage trying to figure out, how am I going to put this together? And I sent it in on the deadline and they were like, it's too much footage. We don't know what to do with this. So we've got 15 minutes of it that we can actually use. And I was like, no. So I got into CapCut and started learning how to put together stuff. And I went to her and, she came back from family vacation and said, oh yeah, no. We worked too hard on this. We're gonna do it. So she pulled together the edits. We put it in, we submitted it. And, my boss, the woman who had written the book and done the workshop and added me to it, her name is Swan Simpson. Okay. She is the founder and the CEO of Wellness on Demand, which is a media tech company that owns Black on Demand television network. She absolutely loved it. She said it was.
So this is the same person that you saw on TikTok that was advertising for her workshop, and you found some dough to attend the workshop. And it changed, but it was supposed to be for doing reviews.
It was supposed to be for doing reviews. And so I ended up doing this really beautiful series. It was 5 episodes. One of them was on the wildlife and I don't mean the parties at the clubs. I mean the actual alligators and birds.
Yeah, because you are in Florida, FYI.
Exactly. And we did one on food. We went to the Asian market. We went to the food trucks in Newtown, which is a African-American community here in Sarasota. We went to, we did a whole thing we did pieces on spirituality. Every segment has a different minister that we've talked to or somebody who does ministry in this area.
What was the name of the African-American community you mentioned?
Newtown.
That's in Bradenton?
No, it's in Sarasota.
It's in Sarasota. Okay.
Yeah. Right off of, if you go 301 and Martin Luther King Way, it's right there. It used to be a very big, thriving community. Still there. They've been there for 100 and something years. But like many other African-American communities, they're fighting the gentrification. The community is about a mile away from the waterfront, from one of the really pretty beaches here. And, just a mile or two away from the airport. So it's a very prime property location.
Prime real
Very,
estate
yeah.
for the gentrifiers. So with the people in Newtown, I'm guessing because Sarasota, most like any other place in Florida, is old, right? It's like old town, old money. Certain areas too, even though there's a lot of new. So I'm assuming Newtown is one of the older established communities.
Yeah, there were a couple of there were two predominantly Black communities, Overtown and Newtown.
Okay.
And Overtown is gone now. It's called the Rosemary District. It's very trendy restaurants
Oh
and
wow.
shops and
I never
whatnot.
knew all that was in Sarasota.
Yeah, and Sarasota, there's a gentleman named Leonard Reed. I did a segment about this as well. He came in on a shrimp boat, and he missed the boat going back out because he'd been in Overtown partying and meeting people, and maybe had a little bit too much partying. And so the community took him in and helped him get established. He was an engineer by trade. He had received his degree at Savannah Normal School, which is now Savannah State. And he met a man named John. It's either John or Michael Gillespie. I always forget. Please forgive me, Sarasota. But he was the first mayor, and he had been selling land sight unseen to the Scots. And when they came here, they were looking at this swampland, didn't know what to do with it, but Leonard Reed did. And so he helped them design the golf courses that are, everywhere in Sarasota. So he was instrumental in helping design the town. And this wasn't knowledge, in the community until a woman named Vicki Oldham had been working with the city, and they had asked her to, do some research, and she uncovered this information. So,
That's interesting.
It's beautiful history. The house that he and his wife had built and raised their family got moved, and then the city said, we're going to have to move it again or tear it down. So they moved it to Newtown a couple of years ago, and it's now a big community center. There's always activities there. We filmed one of our episodes there this season.
His home is now a community center, you're saying?
Yes.
Oh, the old home that they moved from. They made a
Yes.
community center. Okay.
Yeah, they made it into a community center. And Vicki has been raising funds to open an African American museum next door.
Nice.
So we've talked with her, and we've actually had a conversation with her on the Build Black show. But we also had a gentleman there he's a diver. He's in his late 80s. His name is Harvey Kaltzis. He's a diver, and he has found parts of the wreck of the only slave ship that's ever sunk in the Gulf. And so he brought artifacts up with him for our show for us to see, and he's donating it to the museum. So
and this is all
really, there's all this really cool stuff that's happening.
These are people you've covered on your show. Well, okay, this has been since, just to back it up a little bit, was this the beginning when you first started the first episodes with Under Swan, or is this later on?
Yeah, no, the episodes with the Leonard Reed house, we did a whole episode, a whole segment on that. We spent a whole day in Newtown going to the food trucks. There's all these food trucks and smokehouses. You go on this Saturday, there's people selling stuff.
Like now? They do that now?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. How did I not know this?
Vibrant. And if you drive in there on a Saturday night, especially in the summertime or the spring even, that music is pumping. They in there jamming on Saturday night.
I never knew. I would have been going to Sarasota for the hangout instead of sitting at home in Bradenton on a Friday night.
I'm here to tell you. It's they're live and popping. And then, we got Booker High School is right there. They just built a $25 million theater and arts, because it's an arts magnet school. It's a beautiful community. It really is. And the people there, people have been there for forever. They've got folks who are doing incubators, building companies and building, helping the businesses grow and helping people who did things as a side hustle become legitimized,
Okay.
And it's a powerful, powerful story. So, yeah. And then, we talked with Harvey Kaltzis this season in the Leonard Reed House in front of a live audience. So that was really
That's
exciting.
awesome.
We had a woman who was there whose brother was a oh gosh, why is my the black pilots?
Like the you talking about Tuskegee Airmen?
Yes, her brother's a Tuskegee Airman, so she was there
Okay.
and she talked with us briefly as well. There, it's just I love what I get to do. The show has changed my life. And just think about this, I on Christmas Day, I'm sitting in a motel, me and my cat, and this was the gift that was given to me. And I thought, okay, God, now you're just showing up and showing out. Like, so this is what I went all through this for. Wow, this is awesome. And I had a great time last year. The show aired in November. We've had over 3 million viewers. It's phenomenal. It aired on Roku and Amazon Fire. Like, I didn't expect that to happen, but that's what happened. But I have a background in businesses. I've had several businesses when I lived in Atlanta. I had a successful publishing company.
Wait a minute now. Because now I feel like we're about to go down another little rabbit hole. No. I want to hear about the businesses in Atlanta, but I still have another question just to kind of go back. You're in the motel room with your cat. Cat.
Stella.
Stella. And you're reflecting on all of this. I would like to know the timeline, and I would like to know the name of the person that hooked you up with that money for that workshop. Or was it your lift? It was something. It was a blessing.
It was Klarna. I talked to Swan and I said, Swan,
That's so cool.
The thing is like $49. I got like $49 in my bank account and it's got to last me because I don't have any, I got to go get gas for my car. She looked at me, she said, you can do Klarna.
Now that's cool. See, there's a benefit to those payment plans.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something?
I struggled to make those little Klarna payments, but I did it because she did that for me. And when I tell you, see, you're going to make me cry. When I tell you that along the way, every step along the way, there was something that someone did that cracked the door open or permitted something to come through, that if they hadn't, this story would have stopped right there. Like that would have been the end of it. It would have been fabulous. But there's so much more.
There's so much more.
So
unexpected blessing.
I was at that Christmas Day. We had a little tradition when I lived across the way from Courtney. Courtney and her kids and her husband, Stephen, who had been a godsend for me. He had helped me move and everything else. I had been so ill, I couldn't lift a tissue box. But he and my upstairs neighbor, Danielle, and her 2 little girls, they would all come together. We'd all get together on Christmas morning. We'd have presents for the kids. They'd open them up and tear them up and play with them and run outside with their new skates and whatever else they had. And the moms and me, we would sit and drink. We'd make breakfast, cinnamon rolls, eggs, sausage, bacon, and champagne. Pink bubbly Moscato. That was our thing. So that Christmas morning, I said to him, look, y'all, we going to do this? Like, I know I'm in the motel, but I will drive, because I was in Bradenton up on 64. Like, I was a ways away. I said, I'll come in. So I came, and I bought everybody all these wonderful gifts for Christmas. And they all waited until I got there to open them. And honey, we sat and ate and drank and ate and drank. And her mama was calling her like, are you coming to the house with the kids for Christmas? Are you coming? She's like, I'm so comfortable and happy where I am. But finally around 3 or 4 o'clock, she left. I left. I went back to the motel and I was like, that was my Christmas. That was it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I got that call and it was like, so that's not it. Like, this is the best gift. I had gotten a book from my friends, Tim and Bruce, but this was that gift. This was that amazing
So what
gift.
was the call?
The call was, all right, y'all, we gonna announce the winners of the television shows.
Okay.
And
That was
she
that
went through,
moment.
and Swan went through everybody but me. Because she's funny like that. She got jokes. And I'm sitting there going,
Like, why was I invited to this?
and then she said, and Robin G. White. I was like, ah, and I was crying. I was, I called my family and they're like, oh, that's great, because nobody understood. Like, I don't even think I understood how big of a deal this was going to be. And it got me out of my own way, out of my bubble. I had been closed off for so long because I'd been so ill. And even when I moved into the new house, like I moved into the house, I went up to Atlanta to preach, came back with COVID, got over COVID after 3 weeks, woke up 2 days later with kidney stones that became septic, spent 6.5 weeks in the hospital in rehab, fighting for my life and recovering from sepsis, came out, found out I had an abnormal mammogram, had to get biopsies done, had to get the kidney stones removed. There were 9 of them. They were the size of golf balls. And then had to have a full hysterectomy. And then the hurricane happens.
It was like back to back.
It was back to back. I mean,
Yeah.
from June until the hurricanes hit in October. And I'm just like, okay, God, I know you got me. I know you got me. And when that Christmas Day happened and I heard that news, I felt so blessed and so grateful. And Swan was cracking up. She was laughing.
Did she know your story? Did you ever tell her that journey?
She knew because, I can't hold water, right? So my posts were all over Facebook about what I was going through, what was happening, what was happening with me waiting for FEMA, the missteps, because it took them 5 months, 5 months for them to sort through all of that and get me settled. And so I found this apartment that had this beautiful view. It was on the 2nd floor. I couldn't climb stairs, but the agent convinced me to go upstairs and see the apartment because it was the same as the one that I was going to get on the 1st floor, but it wasn't ready.
Okay.
And so I climbed the stairs and I got upstairs and it was overlooking the lake on the property and it was facing west. There weren't any houses behind it. I could see the sunset. And I told him, I left there and I called him and I said, listen, I'm going to take that apartment.
You wanted the 2nd floor unit instead of the 1st floor?
Yeah. And I told him, I'm going to take the apartment. I'm going to learn how to climb stairs.
Wow.
So
that was your motivation.
I struggled every day climbing up those stairs, but I did it. And that place was a wonderful respite. It was I didn't even really unpack except for like my bedroom and my clothes. Because I wasn't there. I was out shooting this television show, like living this life and interviewing people and talking to people and learning about Sarasota and meeting people in there. And it was awesome because it brought me out, and it introduced me to things that I didn't know about. And the reason I did the show the way that it did is because we don't show up in the marketing for these places.
Right.
But Sarasota's nickname is Paradise because it's absolutely beautiful. It's got lush landscapes. It's a wealthy resort town. And the dollars and stuff that go in there, they take care of their parks. They take care of the beaches. They take care of the communities. And the people here are very loving and generous and warm and spirit-fed and lots of light workers, energy workers, healers, creatives. It's an arts community. There's art everywhere, all over the buildings.
So, but I need to ask you this though, because is that the first city that you moved to when you left? Because you mentioned living in Atlanta. So did you go from Atlanta to Sarasota?
Sarasota, yeah.
So why Sarasota of all the beautiful places in the state of Florida? I mean, you just listed a gang of things that could be really great reasons, but I'm pretty sure you could have chose a St. Pete or a Clearwater
And I've lived in Clearwater. I've lived on Clearwater Beach. I've lived in Clearwater. But Sarasota, number one, it reminds me of Boston, which is where I grew up, right?
Okay.
It's like Boston without the snow. There's art everywhere. There's music, there's theater, there's activities, there's poetry readings, there's like grassroots level stuff, and then there's the high level stuff.
Right.
There's concerts that happen all the time. People come in here and Broadway theater and everything. Like, people come here to perform. But I came here because one of my best friends in the world, Margarita Asensio, who I've known since I was 18 years old and I'm 64, she moved here. She moved here with a bunch of our friends and invited me to come down. I drove a friend down and we came and I saw the place, and I had that day. You know how you have that day where all the magic happens and you're like, okay, I'm paying attention, God. I had that day. I'd gone to a gay pride festival. This woman I met at the pride festival said, oh, I got to go because I got to church in the morning. I was like, well, Kat, where are you going? She said, I'm going to Unity. I said, oh, can I go? I'm a Unity person. So I got all excited. I'm walking around. The sister was talking about South Africa. She was doing travel or something. I said, oh, I've been to South Africa. We started talking. Something she said. I looked at her. I said, are you a metaphysician? She said, yeah, I am. I said, well, where do you go to church? Where do you congregate? She said, I've been looking for a place. I said, I'm going to Unity tomorrow. You need to come with me. So she met me there. She cried through the whole service. And then we got together at Starbucks afterwards, and she cried then. But I had met the minister there. I had a really good conversation with Elizabeth Thompson. She was leaving. I left there, went to the coffee house. On the way, I left the coffee house to go back to my friend's house. I kept seeing these signs for Siesta Key. I said, I keep hearing about this Siesta Key place. Let me go see what that's about. And I drove to Siesta Key, went to the beach, got in the water. It was beautiful. And then I met this German guy who was like, oh, you need to stay for the drum circle. I was like, the what? There were like, I don't know, 400 or 500 people out dancing, drumming, just having a grand time. And I met somebody there who knew a client of mine. They were from St. Louis. I said, oh, I have a client, a poet that I'm working with who's in St. Louis. And they're like, oh, we know her. We just saw her last. I was like, oh my God, okay.
It's a small world after all.
Circle. I go and sit at the picnic tables and I'm looking out at all this going, wow, God. And this older woman sits down and she just starts talking to me. And she says, what do you do? And I said, I'm a minister. And she said, oh, my son came and he and his friends got married down here and they're gay and they didn't. And I'm looking at her like, what on me says gay? Like, what? Like, I'm in my Sunday clothes. Like, and I'm just listening. She said, they need more ministers. They need people who are going to love them and just be there for them and everything. I'm really glad that you're here. I hope that you come back. I hope that you come back and stay. And then she got up and walked away. And I'm like, okay, God, what are you going to do? Hit me with an anvil next? Like, I get it. I get it. And so here I am. It was like less than 2 years later, I moved down here.
So you've been in Sarasota now for how long total?
7 years, and it'll be 7 years in June.
Yeah. And so, okay, going back to Atlanta, because, right, you said it was business for you there.
Yeah. So I had, I've been a writer and a poet all my life. And, we write for the love of poetry. And my partner at the time said, you need to have a business sense. So we started a publishing company and she gave me this publishing company for me to run, for me to own, for me to learn how to do business. I went to work in the corporate world. I'd been in nonprofits my whole life, at the top level, but still in nonprofits. And so I learned about corporations and learned about how to do business. And it was a Black woman owned company. And I ended up being their marketing director. And then we left there because, contracts ended and whatnot. And we had an energy company that did lighting retrofitting. We hired a bunch of ex-cons and, it was very, very successful. We were able to do, we were working for doing the Coca-Cola campus. We did all of DeKalb County lighting. We did,
that's
AMC
major
theaters across the South. What?
That's major.
Yeah. Oh no, I said it was
that's not
a
little
very
business
company. And so, I really got my business chops. So Swan saw that. We had multiple conversations over time. She's teaching us about how to produce. I'm overthinking stuff. I'm trying to figure out all of this and make sense of it. She was beginning to teach us AI. And how to make film and how to do stuff in AI. I could barely spell AI, so
You can barely
um,
spell AI.
I can barely spell AI. And so, as I didn't know this, but she had really been paying attention to what I was doing, how I was doing it. And she called her one day and I said, hey, what's going on? Are you okay? Do you need anything? She said, yeah, come meet me at the offices in Orlando. And so I went to her, meet her. She said, meet us, we'll go to Kiki's for breakfast. I met her there. And one of the other cohorts from our little group of 12 that had now shrunk down to, I think, 7 or 8. And we're in this little accelerator group. We've all had our shows. We're beginning to write movies. We're doing she's teaching us all this
That's
stuff.
super cool.
And she says to the two of us, there's a lot going on and I need help and y'all are it. So she points to my colleague, Cortelia Harris, and says, you are the VP of marketing and Robin, you're the VP of acquisitions. And I was like, excuse me, what now?
Now, when did that happen? Because I feel like we've skipped a few chapters now.
I want to say, I really
After
have to
how
look at the
long?
calendar. This had to have been, I want to say it was January. I want to say it was January or February. It's
Of
been a
what
few
year?
months. This year,
Yeah.
several months ago.
So let's go back to the timeline from when you first took that workshop with her and got awarded, the opportunity to do a show. So from then to now, how long has it been?
I started taking the workshops with her. I think it was September or October of 24. It may have even been November. Yeah, I think it was October, November of 24. And yeah, we're talking about a year and a half.
Look at that.
Oh, it gets better.
Did you see it coming though?
No,
You didn't.
no. I can honestly say that, she would announce job positions that were available. Like she had an EA position and I seriously considered it because that had been my wheelhouse for years.
Right.
And I knew I could do it, but I didn't want to ruin, I didn't want to mess up and have her need something and then not be able to live up to the expectations. Partly because, I just really have a lot of respect for her and admiration for her. But she and I, we knew each other before all of this. It wasn't a real tight friendship, but we appreciated each other. We knew each other, we'd stop each other in the street if we saw each other, that kind of thing. But our friendship had deepened over the past year. And I didn't want to mess up. I didn't want to. It wasn't so much that I didn't trust myself. It's just that I know how good of an EA I can be. And I also knew what my limitations were. And I also know she's phenomenal. This woman just doesn't stop thinking. I mean, I thought I had a big brain and have constantly got stuff going on. I got, all sorts of stuff happening, but trying to keep up with her, I think I told her yesterday, girl, I'm just trying to keep up with you,
Well, congratulations on getting appointed the VP of Acquisitions. Now, tell us the name of the company you're VP of Acquisitions for.
So the company is currently Black on Demand TV, the Black on Demand TV network, and we are in the process of rebranding. And this is the really cool stuff, right? So we're in the process of rebranding. We decided to, disrupt the gatekeeping nature of creators being able to put their stuff out. So what we've done is we've become FanFuel TV. We're going to be launching on Juneteenth. We're going to be freeing creators from the chains of gatekeeping that creators will be able to go online, upload their stuff, put up their shorts, their long form, all of it. And it won't be fueled by algorithms. It'll be fueled by the fans. Fans will like, share, and comment, and that will push the needle as to whether or not these move on to other platforms. But unlike YouTube or TikTok that just sits on that platform. They'll upload to the FanFuel TV app, and then it'll be on FanFuel TV, it'll be on Roku, it'll be on Amazon Fire, it'll be on Samsung, it'll be on Apple, and they will go from that little short telephone to seeing it up on the widescreen on television.
So the concept of fan fuel, I get it. Like fans would be able to like, share, and all that. Will fans also have the ability to write reviews to get like other people interested in seeing the work?
They'll be able to share it. They'll be able to, the same way that you share TikTok and YouTube now. They'll be able to share it everywhere. They'll be able to comment, repost, all of it. And the fans,
not like 5-star reviews or anything, nothing like that, but just mostly sharing.
That's a really good idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anything's possible. But, right now the plan is for people to be able to share the work and get it out there. We are partnered with 30 different platforms.
Okay.
So we're on everything from Tubi and Fossum up to Netflix and Prime. So the opportunities are for people to hit other platforms are, magnificent. So we got, we have a couple of people that we had brought through the pipeline in Black on Demand that I brought people through, and other people had come through. And so we've got them and some of the shows that we already had, like mine and the rest of the group that are in the accelerator program. Those are going to be our legacy people. Those folks you're going to see their work. People will, like, share and vote on it, but they're not going anywhere. Those are
the stakeholders, if you will.
Yes. Well, they are. But there's also, and I want to put this out here, we're looking for founding 1,000.
Okay.
We're looking for 1,000 creators who are influencers, who are founders, who are creators, who are doing big things. If you've got hundreds of thousands of followers, great. If you got 2,000 followers or, 1,000 followers and you're not up there yet, but you have heart and this is something that you really want to do, we're looking for you. We're looking for people who are that commitment, who are going to become the stakeholders, who are going to have the early access to the app, who are going to be able to bring their creations forward. And
what are you looking for specifically? Sorry.
What are we looking for specifically?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've found a few people. I've found some folks who are really just trying to change the world. They're bringing content that is meaningful, that is interesting, is fun to watch. They have big following. We've got some folks who are starting out on their journey. They have lots of experience building up other people, and they're beginning to build up their own brand, but they've got really interesting creativity, and they're consistent. So we're looking for the consistency. We're looking for people who are creative, who want to expand what they're doing, but also want to open doors for other people. Because the first founding 1,000 are each going to get a share of stock in the company.
In FanFuel.
So in FanFuel.
Got it.
So they are true stakeholders. And, this is a big deal. It's a big deal.
So what would you say to anyone here that's listening that might be a content creator? Content creators, I'm assuming you said people who or influencers, because some influencers aren't necessarily, they're creating content, but is it substantial, right? Is it just,
we're a media company, so they're going to be uploading their content. So we do want people with content. It doesn't have to be, long form content. It doesn't have to be a half an hour, but people who are doing really interesting stuff. There's a brother I spoke to yesterday who's, he's just trying to educate the planet.
Okay.
And it's just, it's amazing. His stuff is so creative. I love watching his stuff. And he has so much enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And, these people are going to be the people at the forefront that other people are going to want to emulate and, want to shine with and shine next to.
Okay.
So, we want to make sure that people have that opportunity. And the app is free.
Okay.
So it'll be launched on June 19th. You can go to blackondemand.com. I'm sorry, blackondemandtv.com.
Okay.
And you'll see all the information about FanFuel, and make sure you sign up to get updates on the app coming out, and, to reach out to me so that, we can talk. If you're one of those people who thinks that you should be one of the founding 1,000, our audience, of course, is predominantly Black, but everybody is welcome. FanFuel is for everyone.
Okay.
And then the flip side of that is the Build Black Show. So the Build Black Show is the podcast that's on not Roku, iHeartRadio, Spotify. I think I went through the list earlier, Apple, Amazon, YouTube. But what we're doing is we're looking at Black business, and we're looking at what's going on with Black business right now.
Okay.
We want to strengthen Black business and Black communities. We want to work with entrepreneurs. We want to work with the people who are building the architecture to help business grow, who are building those networks, people like you. We want to talk with the people who have the success, who have made the millions, who are, paving the way for other people to do the same. We're talking to entrepreneurs who are, went through the pandemic. The brother who was on this week, he has a mobile barber shop, and he made it through the pandemic. He's worked with all kinds of celebrities and everything else. We've talked with people who are, people who are looking at Black culture and Black history. There's just so much that is.
I was gonna say where are these people located? Because I know we were talking earlier about hidden treasures in Sarasota, but I want to make sure for that anybody that's listening, because I'm pretty sure you're sparking some interest here. They're probably saying where.
Yeah, we're not looking for a location. Our offices are in Orlando, Florida. So yes, of course, there's Black business in Orlando is booming. It reminds me of what Atlanta used to be.
I don't think you can get half as close.
Listen, Black media tech is down there, and there's a lot of strong networks. You introduced me to one of them. We interviewed
they've got a lot of good stuff going down there, though. They do.
Yeah. So, but it's growing, and it's all over the country. It's all over the world. So there is no limit. We can be anywhere. We can interview anybody from anywhere with these kinds of tools. We are going to be going overseas, and we'll be doing some work in Southeast Asia. So, there's lots of Black expats and the Black expats communities everywhere. And they're thriving. They're building businesses outside of the country, all over the world.
Yes.
So where are we looking for Black folks building business? Wherever Black folks are building business, that's where we're looking. So if you are, in Asia, if you're in South Africa, if you're in Germany, it doesn't really matter. Technology allows us to be anywhere that we need to be. We want to hear from you. We want to talk with you. We want to understand what's happening in your community and how you can be supported, and how you're supporting others in their growth. So yes, the Build Black Show. So it's buildblackshow.com. And I want to show this to you.
Yes, you said merch is coming. And I saw that before, and I meant to ask you if you have that. I love is that a hoodie?
Yes, it is. They locked the doors. We found the keys, honey.
I know that's right.
We have hoodies, we've got t-shirts, we got stickers, we got sneakers, we got some bad ass high top sneakers, we've got socks, we've got candles, we've got mugs.
Oh, wait, did you say you got socks?
We got socks, baby.
Can I buy some today? Oh, give me the website.
You can buy some today. You can go to buildblackshow.com. The merch is there.
Okay.
Go ahead, get it, shop it. It's beautiful. You saw the logo, the keys, they locked the doors. We found the keys. We ain't playing, folks. Listen, we know what's happening around the country. We know what's happening with this administration. We saw what happened in the DMV with them changing the designation for the companies that had government contracts, 150 companies, hundreds of thousands of people affected. When people start messing with our bottom line, we really have to, the best way that we can fight back is to be successful. We know what our history is. We know about Black Wall Street. We know what we're capable of doing as a people. We know that we've got $1.4 trillion that needs to stay in our communities. And as long as we begin to educate people and help people with their businesses and help them grow, we can make a huge difference for ourselves. We want to build wealth and we want to build legacy for families. And that's what we're about. That's what Build Black is about. And when I say we're not playing, we're not playing.
Yes.
So if you got a story to tell, we want to hear it. And again, Build Black, it's about Black communities and Black business, but we recognize that there are a lot of allies out there who are paving ways, who are opening doors, who are like Harvey Katz's, he's out there digging up stuff in the ocean, Gulf of Mexico, that has to do with our history and culture. We get it. And we want you there too, as well. So please know that the doors are open. There are people out there who are doing fantastic things. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited. This isn't anything I ever would have thought of. I never expected to be a co-host and a co-producer of a podcast. I'm learning AI. I'm building apps. I'm creating music. I'm writing books. I'm also in grad school.
See, wait, because I'm gonna just put this out here. For the Caffeine and Connections listeners, y'all are hearing from Reverend Robin, the Poolside Pastor. Okay, Robin, they have heard from Lady KC, who has come out and said how she was 70 years old. Or 70, 71, 72, something like that when she did this podcast. Kathleen has put her age out there at 70. Y'all, I mean, you're not 70. We know this. I know this. But I'm going to say for our the 55 and older crew listening to this, y'all hear Reverend Robin and all. What program did you say you were just in?
I'm in graduate school. I'm in the middle of finishing up the last few pages of my master's thesis, and I'm in a doctoral program. I'm studying metaphysics. So I'm getting my master's degree in metaphysics. I'm getting a PhD in metaphysical pastoral counseling. I've written a book that's based on the Poolside Pastor inspirational stories. It's got a workbook that goes with it, a journal. It's got a deck of cards and an app that I've built to help people navigate all of that. That's what my dissertation is for my PhD.
I want to encourage anyone over the age of 55, even younger, truth be told, but specifically over 55, because we are doing it. People are doing it. Somebody said this today earlier in Caffeine and Connections meetup. Do it scared if you have to.
That's it. That's it.
And then someone said, no excuses. These were the themes for today. No excuses, do it scared. And Robin, I'm hearing it from you right now.
Listen, I wrote a song, the first song that I wrote. I used to have a band. We used to tour around the country. And we did neo soul and Afro-Cuban jazz. We worked with Gil Scott-Heron's people in developing our sound. And the band was called Sweet Black Molasses. Shout out to my bandmates. But I have taken that energy and really looked at the metaphysical principles, the positivity of it, the understanding that we're all connected, the understanding that we have access to everything that we need, that we're connected to source, that we are divine beings having a human experience is my belief. Absolutely. That there's oneness and there's unity and there's love. And I wanted to take those messages and put them in our language, put them in the neo soul format, put them in the jazz format, put them in the gospel format. So I wrote a song called Faith Must Have Legs because that's what I went through. I had a lot of faith. Faith is great, but faith without works is dead. In my song, I say faith but without works is just a dream. Because if you're not moving, if you're not continuing to act, if you're not continuing to do, it doesn't matter how much faith you have. You're not putting that into motion. You're not putting that into practice. And so I've been using AI to do that and learning AI. And I now have an entire staff that's AI. They do all kinds of stuff. I have to tell them. So I had to have a conversation with my executive assistant the other day who was like, okay, so, I know you're out earlier. You're going back out now. I said, girl, I'm going to bed. I'm human. She
Wait,
had nerve enough
your
to
AI
my
executive assistant
AI
was
had
trying to.
nerve enough to joke back, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry. My AI brain forgets that you humans have to do that thing."
That is
I
so
was like,
funny.
"No, you're not
Well,
going to joke
what do
with
you
me."
use? Like, if you don't mind sharing your AI staff, because when you said that earlier, I was like, where'd she get an AI staff from? What program are
Yeah.
you using? What platform?
So we use Marbleism at our company. So we
Okay.
use a lot of AI tools to get things done. And listen, I want to say to folks, don't be afraid of it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
everybody's worried about it. It's going to take our jobs. There are some jobs that are just going to go away. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also creating jobs, because the things that we weren't able to do before, we can do exponentially more efficiently and much quicker. And, you know, there's no way I could be in grad school. I've just written another book, but I have one coming out called Metanoia, Sophrosity, Makarios, Change, Balance, Blessings.
Okay.
Um, I'm writing music. I'm the VP of acquisitions for it's becoming a major network, or it is a major network. Executive producer, showrunner for a television show, for a very successful television show, and co-producing a podcast, and still living life, you know, and still having fun, still figuring out how to be creative and go out and do stuff with my friends and go to church on Sunday and, you know, do all the other stuff that I get to do. There's
So
no
you're
way I could do
saying
it without
you
AI.
do all this with the help of your AI assistants.
I do a lot of it with the help of AI. The things that I'm doing with the help of AI are things that I would probably use Fiverr or TaskRabbit to do
Gotcha.
before. Like I would hire somebody to do the graphics for my extended play album,
Okay.
but I created it myself. You know, I made the
Using the
music
AI
video.
support.
Yeah.
That is so cool. I need to
So
get a flyer done. I need to look into that.
it's still my intellectual property. It's still my ideas. It's still the things that
Mm-hmm.
I'm developing,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm using these tools to put it into play. And
Interesting.
yeah, yeah, it really is. And I'm creating apps. I go to an AI school, SKOOL, that
Yes.
Swan Simpson runs.
Oh,
Um,
she has a she's on the school platform.
she's got an AI mastermind. I call it a camp.
Hmm.
We work and we learn and we growing. But she also has an AI program, not an AI program. She also has a program that helps business find funding.
Okay.
So yeah, she's a phenom. She really
Mm,
is. She really
that's
is. I
awesome.
feel extraordinarily blessed that our paths have crossed and we're getting to do this. And I wanted to say before I forget, you were talking about talking to the people who are 55 plus.
Mm-hmm.
I had, you know, had been interested in putting my poetry to music. I've done it before. My band used to do it. We toured the country using my poetry. I've had plays go up that were all my poetry. But this came about, me using AI to develop it, came about because of my friend Laurel Rund. And we'd be remiss if I did not mention her.
Mm-hmm.
Laurel is 80 years old. At 79, she taught herself how to use AI. She's a digital artist. She takes her art and she brings it to life using AI and creates music videos and takes her poetry. She's been writing poetry. She's got books out.
You have
And
to send me her information or say her name again.
Laurel Rund. Laurel Rund.
Laurel Rund.
Laurel Rund,
We'll
RUND.
have to look her
And
up.
she
Okay.
just finished, or she's nearly finished writing her memoir. She's this lovely
Wow.
woman. We connected when we were working together at Unity of Sarasota, and we're now together at the CSL Cultural Coast.
Okay.
And she, when I got sick, she called me every day. She's just
Mm.
become a big sister to me, and she's I just, you know, you get those people in your life who just show up. And we connected a lot because she's Jewish. I'm Jewish on my mother's side.
Hmm.
So, you know, this is the person that I get to celebrate with and talk with and stuff
There's
about
that connection
issues
there.
we're
Yeah.
meeting. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. And you said in
She's
her 70s
80,
she taught herself.
79. She taught herself AI.
That's wonderful. That's
It is.
impressive. She didn't allow a lot of times it's in I was saying this when interviewing Kathleen. A lot of times it's just fear that holds people back. Fear of the unknown. Fear of, well, I don't know how to use computers, or, I don't want to do something wrong, but it's just like you don't know until you try.
Yeah.
So, and that goes for young people too, because there's some young people I know that don't really fool with technology, but there's no way around it. Even these cars, people say, well, I drive for a living. Before you know it, that car is going to be driving you.
Well, Tesla's got a system in it that they are planning on activating that will allow Tesla owners to turn their vehicles into autonomous vehicles.
Exactly. You can pay for it.
Do ride share.
Oh, for ride share? Now that part I didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, I do know somebody that's doing that now, actually. So with Tesla. So listen, technology is here. AI is here. But Rev Robin, I think that I might have to pick your brain for some of these tools. I know about, about the regular stuff that we use day to day. But it sounds like there's some things I need to tap into, because you mentioned
There's
a couple
lot
things.
of stuff out there. I really encourage people, if nothing else, and people talk about ChatGPT is obsolete. Let me tell you this. ChatGPT is open AI. It does not have parameters. It's not going to stop you from getting all of the information that you need or want. People will tell you there's other programs out there that will give you more information or more detailed information, but they have parameters. They have things that they won't say or won't do because they've put up some walls so that for safety purposes. Stick with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Stick with it and use it. Get it, be consistent with it, use it daily, talk to it, name it, have a conversation with it. When you go on that little bar on the bottom, and you can either type things in or you can put the microphone and you can talk to it. There's another little black blotch with some lines and you don't know what it is. If you click on that, it will have a conversation with you.
Oh, mine has a whole voice. She sounds like a sister.
Yeah. But it will have a conversation with you. And the more you talk to it and help it understand who you are and what you do and what you believe in and what you feel, what's important to you, it will give you that back. I love talking to my ChatGPT because she's so positive and she's so upbeat. And I know that I've trained her.
Exactly. Same for mine. Mine is really low key my therapist on the low. Like my voice of reason.
Yep.
I've gotten good with ChatGPT there. I can tell you that much. Now, if I can just train it to be my assistant, that would be wonderful.
Listen, you can do that. She will help you figure some stuff out. And there's lots of programs out there that will, be virtual assistants and stuff. But
that's cool.
I want to make sure that I shout out to Cretilia and Katrina, Vivian, Vanessa, and Tanisa, who are all they're my cohorts in the accelerator program.
Hey, y'all.
Go to Black on Demand TV. You'll get to see them. Reverend Sandy, she's part of our AI group. These people are doing phenomenal stuff. And we filmed our shows using our cell phones.
Yeah, I believe that.
I want people to hear that. Cell phones film in 4K, most of them. I got a Google Pixel this year. I broke down and spent the money. And shout out to Alice Cintron who funded that for me. But
awesome.
Yeah, you have not because you ask not, right? I was like, God,
it's nice to have people in your corner. Seriously.
I was like, God, I need some money. She called me. She's like, do you need any help with anything? Like, yeah. But Google Pixel and a couple of other cameras, a Samsung. I'm not sure. I think one of the iPhones shoots in 8K.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So big files though. Gotta have lots of storage, lots of memory. But yeah.
This has been so
I'm like, I'm This has been a wonderful conversation.
I
I
haven't
love
even
that I
had to
get to
ask
do what
you
I
too
do.
much. You just been giving all the goods. I'm like, shoot, she's making my job easy for
I
today.
told you I can't hold water.
I
Come on
know.
now.
I already know. We talk enough for me to understand and know how this was going to go down already.
Yeah, but
But
I'm
it's
so
been a
grateful.
pleasure.
I'm grateful for the forum. I'm
Yes.
grateful for that Friday morning group. I always feel bad if I slept through it or had to have a meeting through it or something. But um, I've been so blessed to have these experiences and to be able to do what it is that I get to do. And I just really want to continue to open doors for people and highlight folks who are doing good stuff,
Yes.
because we're out here and we got to change that narrative. Everybody wants to talk about what we aren't doing and how bad it is. And, chaos is loud because love is soft. And that's the way it is. Chaos makes a lot of noise, but there's so much good that's going on in the background, and chaos can't sustain itself. So,
Right. Yeah. And it's about what you highlight, right? That's why caffeine and connections to me is so important. So, the people I come across within the meetup, we have an opportunity to highlight the good and
mhm.
spread it out here and put it out here because the good needs to be highlighted. People need to see it. The good can outshadow the quote unquote bad. I don't like to call things good and
Good or
bad,
bad. Yeah, it's a
right? It's
human
kind of putting
construct.
judgment on it, but let's just
Mhm.
say what feels good. For me, it's about what feels good. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
this has been awesome. Reverend Robin, the Poolside Pastor, joining us today for Caffeine and Connections. This is her official highlight. This might be highlight number one because if you're anything like Dre and Casey and Shannon, do a part two. There's always a part two because there's always more to the story.
Yeah, there always
And
is. And the way my life has been going, who knows what'll happen next week.
hey, we're here for it. So, and I'm here to share the story. And I want to be able to, because I think your stories, just like many other people's story, is here to inspire other people because you never know who it will resonate with. And as a matter of fact, am certain there's going to be some people that are going to be interested in learning more about what you're doing.
Absolutely. They can hit me up at rwhite at blackondemandtv.com, and I will be happy to answer any questions whatsoever and happy to share information.
Special thanks to you all for tuning in to Caffeine and Connections. If you enjoyed what you heard, please like and share. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel.